we started this session. Next session is non-native English speakers in open source community. A true story. What is true story? Yeah, everybody they want to know. Okay, please welcome Mr. Masayuki Igawa.
So this session is non-native English speakers. Yeah, as already mentioned that. So, and this slide you can access from this URL. So, if you interested in this talk or in this about this topic, you can download from it. Yeah, Google /JA200/K. Okay, so my name is Masayuki Igawa, and I'm working for Suse now, and my office is in Tokyo, and I'm working for OpenStack things. I'm working for OpenStack QA area, and I'm a co-reviewer of that. I'm Japanese, so. And I listed 3 people here because this talk was made by Dongma, Samuel, and me. So I just put. So I think I should put the name all of us. So second guy is Dongma. He is Chinese. And he is also an OpenStack contributor, and he is also involved on the other open source project. And the third one is Samuel. Samuel is a Brazilian, and he is also an OpenStack reviewer, and he is a Brazilian, and I'm working for now Suse remotely. So, by the way, I'm actually a newbie of openSUSE. So this is my room, and this is my servers, kind of servers. 3 1U servers in a table, which is a IKEA rack. So this is a rack system. So and yeah, I'm now. This is now installing the openSUSE, the 42.3. Yeah. So I'm very happy, and I'm actually. This is the first time to join the openSUSE events. So first attend to the first time and speaking at the first time. So I'm very happy, but I'm a bit nervous. So if you have any questions, you can ask anytime. So please raise your hand. So before entering my talk, I actually have one question. Is there any native English speaker here? Okay, I see. Yeah, no problem. And I actually have one more. I'm wondering which language is the best in this talk. I mean, should I use Japanese or should I use English? I actually mixed feeling, but I think English is better because I think most of the people can understand English, right? So if I use Japanese, yeah, half of the people cannot understand my talk. So, yeah. So what's the talk about? First one is our experiences. So what happened to us, and second thing is the challenges. Yeah, there are a lot of challenges. It's based on the cultural things or language specific. And the third one is overcoming obstacles, overcoming challenges. How to overcome the challenges. And the last one is onboarding newcomers. I will talk about some tips for that. So first one is cultural challenges. So from my perspective, this is my first perspective. I actually don't say this is all the Japanese people thinking about this. I don't say about that. But I think many of the Japanese people agree with these things. So, yeah. First one is do not express clearly, like yes or no clearly. We don't say yes or no actually clearly. So many people very confusing about that probably. So, but we should say yes or no clearly in many cases. So we will need to try to that. And the second one is tend to be perfect. Yeah, this is not good, but actually we are very scared about foreign people. Like we are thinking about if we take a mistake, if we get a mistake, so how can I say like that? So just fear from about that. So it's really bad custom, really bad culture, I think. So we need to overcome with that. And the third one is keep intonation. So most of the Japanese language is keep the intonation. So it's very different than normal English. So we actually keep quietly in the speaking, or we don't put the intonation or stress on that. But it's a bit difficult to understand for foreign people. So I will try to put on the stress or accent on that. And fourth one is a cycle economy. So we are big enough economy size in the past years. So we don't need to actually have a conversation with the foreign people to get the business for many years, I think. So that's the reason why we don't need to learn English not so much. But these days it is not true. So we actually need to learn English and we need to use English more. And the other thing is surrounded by the ocean and the sea. Yeah, you can see the Japan. You already know that. But so we don't face the Korean or China or some other countries. We have the sea or oceans around the countries. So we don't face, or we don't have a chance to get have a talk with other foreign peoples many years. But this is not also true. So we have a lot of conferences like this. So learning English is very important these days. So next one is focusing on reading and writing in school educations. So this is reading and writing is very important, but it's not enough to have a conversation with the people because to have a conversation we need speaking or listening skills. So it's a challenge now. And the next one is pronunciation. Pronunciation and grammar is very different from English. For example, the first one is L and R sounds pronounced is different, but in Japanese it's the same. So this is the example. So right hand and light is very difficult to pronounce for me. So can you distinguish that? So this is also a challenging. And the second example is TH sound or F sound. We Japanese don't have the sound, TH sound, like do or that or like that. And F sounds mean father or father. It has a F and TH sounds. Yeah, like that. We say probably in Japanese English is father, like that. So it's a very different pronunciation in Japanese and English. And the third one is grammar perspective. So the very simple example, this is the very simple example. In English, the normal order is sequence is a subject, verb, object. But in Japanese, normal order is subject, object, verb. So that in English, we say they love chocolate, right? But in Japanese, we say 彼らはチョコレートが大好きです。So this means so 彼ら means that they, and the chocolate means chocolate, and the 大好きです means love. So the they chocolate love. This sounds poetic, but it's very weird. So we need to change our brain to English brain. We need to switch to English brain. So it's a very difficult for us. And last one is katakana word. We have three types of characters in Japanese. First one is kanji. Kanji is a Chinese character. It's borrowed from China. And the second one is hiragana. And the last one is katakana. Katakana is actually used for mainly imported word. That is a network or light or right or McDonald. Yeah. But this occurs sometimes confusing because so best example is McDonald. So we understand in katakana. This is we don't say McDonald's in Japanese. We say in Japanese McDonald, like that. So if you say McDonald's, we don't understand actually. So and if I say McDonald, but you don't understand the McDonald, yeah, right? So it's very different and it's very confusing in katakana world. And the last one is Japanese made English. We say wasei eigo, wasei. So this is also confusing because first one is the pasokon. Pasokon, do you know the pasokon? The pasokon means a personal computer, PC. But some of the Japanese believe the pasokon is an English word, but it's not English, correct English. So the other thing is aircon, autobike. Aircon is an air conditioner, and autobike is a motorbike. It's very different, but it's written in the katakana word. So many of the Japanese believe it's English word, but it's not correct. So this also confusing in Japanese. So if you want to know more, say, egg word, so you can see in that name. Yeah. So from here, dogma part, but he isn't here, so I will just reading this. So Chinese culture is based on a Confucian culture. So the very famous book is The Doctrine of the Mean. I actually don't know about that much, so probably you know that. So Chinese like to say yes, but do not like to say no. So it's based on the Chinese culture. And like to listen, but do not like to negotiate. Yeah, he thinks so. Many of the Chinese think about that. And the Chinese pronunciation is also different from the English. Yeah. Yeah, probably similar to the Japanese situation. And grammar is also different. But I think Chinese grammar is a bit similar than Japanese grammar. Because like 我爱你 is I love you, right? So it's a same order as English. And the writing is hard. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yes. And the next guy is Samuel. Samuel isn't neither, so I will talk about, I will read about that. And the conversation during in similar way, express yes or no clearly. Yeah, that's nice. And the response is short and direct. Well, is sounded rude, so they put more long sentences as preferable. And grammar, yeah. Samuel is Brazilian. Brazilian uses Portuguese, and Portuguese is similar to probably Spanish, right? I don't know. So I can't read this correctly, but yeah. But he said so in English, it's a beautiful house, but in Spanish or Portuguese, it's a house beautiful like this order, right? So it's a different grammar. And grammars, yeah. There is no G sound or GH sound. GH sound is a bit confusing for Brazilian. And the education system is for job teaching English. Yeah, it's very similar to Japan, I think. Yeah. And the border, yeah, it's very different from Japan. So they face to 10 countries. But English is not popular in Brazil, or yeah, there is no English speakers in the immigration, and wake up late. It means after graduating school, people recognize that English is very important. So the first time in openSUSE Summit, he was there, but he actually have a conversation with a chat too. IRC was like that. But in openSUSE Summit, like this event, very big event, he had a first time to talking to face, but he cannot use English fluently, so he got very surprised and he got very confusing about that. And origin of knowledge, English essential, but it's not the only one thing. But yeah, yes, and make fun of the other mistakes. So it's not good attitude, I think. It's a Brazilian culture. So there are a lot of challenges we faced, but we listed on 4 skills for that. First one is reading, second is writing, and listening and speaking. So first one is reading part. So reading is, I think the easiest part to learn, to get the skill. You can, because we already educated from the schools, and reading, we can read as many times as we need. If we read web pages in English, we can read this, and we can use a dictionary or internet tools or like that. Yeah, it's very useful, I think. But it's one of the most important skill, because most of the open source conversation is in a mailing list or chat, like IRC or Slack or something like that. So if we cannot read in English, we cannot understand everything. So the reading skill, English reading skill is very important, right? But sometimes very long threads in mailing lists happens, but the conclusion is very unclear. But it's a very difficult situation for me, especially because there is a conclusion, but I just couldn't understand it, or there is no conclusion, but yeah, if there is no conclusion, I cannot understand the conclusion, but I cannot decide that I cannot understand which is so I don't understand which is the answer. So sometimes it's very confusing. And IRC conversation goes first. The IRC or Slack, like that chat too. So if the conversation goes quickly, very fast, we cannot understand. I cannot understand because sometimes the conversation goes parallelly. Some guys are talking about different topics in that same page. So it's very difficult for me. And lots of intonation. Sometimes, so in reading, there is no intonation. It's very difficult to put the intonation for that. So we cannot understand the feeling or something like that things. So it's a bit difficult to understand the whole of the conclusion or something. And the writing skill is also important, of course. Yeah, so grammar part, I already mentioned that, is it's very different from the many other languages, yeah, like this. And the second way is writing long and beautiful sentences is very hard, yeah, especially for me or some other guys. So we actually use simple sentences, but it's sometimes it's a rude, or we cannot put feeling or some other things. So we should try to learn English to writing skill. And I already mentioned that the third thing is speed in chat. So sometimes the chat is very quickly, but if the writing skill is less, it's very hard to following the conversation, right? And listening skill. So variety of accents, like US or UK or Scottish or Australian, or Chinese, Japanese, or Germany, or Indonesia, India, or like that. So, and in native countries like US, it's very depends on the part of the area or ages or like that. There are a lot of variety of accents, right? So, we actually need to used to about the accent. So it's very challenging. And the speed, native speakers are very quickly speaking very quickly, so it's also difficult. And the vocabulary and the grammar is also required in the conversation in real time. So it's very difficult, right? And the noisy environments like a pub or diners or like other situations, it's very sometimes hard to understand what they say. And the speaking is, I think, most difficult part because, basically output skill is difficult, basically. And the pronunciation is very different from Japanese, so it's very difficult to speak in English. And speed and fluency is also required because if less speed or frequency fluently, people feel boring, so annoying, right? And the third one is the vocabulary and the grammar is also required, right? So from here, I will talk about to overcome obstacles, challenges. So you don't need to. So you may not on outstanding level. So it's not block. And so if you get the English companies opportunities or like that, and you don't need to get perfect English skills. I think you can start at any time, so you can just try that, right? Okay, time's up. So I will skip that. This is a kind of summary of the tips. So reading or writing, we can use English every day with like these tools or something. Yeah, we can learn English. We can exercise English every day. So eventually we can get English skills more. So newcomers for open source project like openSUSE like that. So be friendly or find a mentor and ask question and share your opinion to others. Yeah, diversity is important for most of the open source project, and prepare in advance and keep improving your English skill. Yeah, I will try that. But yeah, there's no native English speakers here. Yeah, this is the one tip, 5 tips. And this is the last of the that slide. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Igawa. Thank you. And we have a time, 5 minutes left. So, do you have any question? Yeah.
Actually, not a question.
Yeah.
First, I think your English is already very good. Really,
Thank you.
because I'm also like you. I agree. You know, especially in free and open source communities, actually native English speaker is not that many. For example, in developing community, mostly from Europe, they are all actually Italian or from France, Italy, Germany. They are all not native English speaker, but in the community we encourage everyone not to be shy.
Yeah.
And I think actually writing is the most difficult. And I think your slides, I would like to get your slide because it's very, very interesting. And you mentioned an important thing that writing, if you want to practice writing, you need a native writer to review. I think you get this point. But writing is the most difficult among all. And speaking doesn't need that many grammars. I think your presentation is already very good. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, true.
I have a question.
Yep.
Do you have any tip how we can make easier for the people that doesn't feel that comfortable speaking English from the open source community to allow them to also participate? I mean, because your work was focused on the perspective of the people that doesn't speak that good English, what they should do. But is there something that we can do from the open source community, also from openSUSE, trying to make this easier for them?
So you mean, sorry, I cannot follow all of the question, but so can you?
What we can do from the community
Yeah.
to make it easier for the people that doesn't speak English?
Encourage the people. Probably many people, especially Japanese people, are very shy or hesitate to ask or something. So you can question. You can ask a question to have something. Japanese people. I'm not sure. Just encourage the people is a thing to we can. I mean. It's actually kind of difficult thing, but yeah, good question. Sorry, I don't have the exact answer. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Any question? English is worldwide language.
Yes.
What is the most difficult English for you? Meaning, I suppose I can listen English, but I talked with Indonesian people yesterday, and I cannot understand. So, yeah, for me, Indonesian English is the most difficult for me.
I see. I got it. Yeah. So probably you feel a very strong accent. It's hard to understand the English, right? So for me, Indian English is a bit difficult for me. But what's the question? This is my answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any question? Go on. Okay, but this is, okay, sorry. So,
Please show link this slide. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a link. Google/JA2OOK. Thank you. Thank you. So if you have more information, yeah, there's a link for that. You can Google with this title, non-native English speaker class, OpenStack something, open source something. Yeah, you can get some other some resources. Yeah.
Okay, any other question? All right. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Igawa, please. Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm very glad because actually, yeah, there are a lot of obstacles for teaching. A lot of Japanese people get more tough. Okay, thank you.